Most people will never experience the highest vibrational reality because they are trapped in illusions they don't even realize exist. They wake up every day reacting, repeating, living the same cycles that keep them small, distracted, and disconnected from their true power. They don't see it happening, but every thought they have, every habit they repeat, every environment they stay in is shaping their frequency. And that frequency determines everything. It determines the people they attract, the opportunities they see, the way life responds to them. And the truth is brutal. 99% of people are stuck in a low vibrational loop, chasing, struggling, settling, thinking that if they just work harder, if they just wait a little longer, something will change. But nothing changes until the frequency changes. The 1% who live in the highest vibrational reality don't live this way. They don't chase, they don't beg, they don't wait. They move differently. They think differently. They operate from a state of absolute certainty, an energy so powerful that reality bends to match them. They don't wish for abundance, they become abundance. They don't hope for success, they embody success. And because of that, everything comes to them effortlessly, not because they are lucky, not because they are special, but because they have broken out of the illusion that keeps most people trapped. And here's where it gets real: most people will never do it. Not because they can't, but because they won't. Because shifting into this frequency requires one thing most people are too afraid to do: letting go of everything that keeps them small. The toxic relationships, the low-energy habits, the distractions that numb them just enough to avoid facing the truth. Because the truth is uncomfortable. The truth forces you to see that you are the only thing standing in your way. And the moment you see that, you have two choices: change or continue lying to yourself. The 1% choose change. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They don't wait to feel ready. They decide now. And that decision is what separates them from everyone else.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Because the second you decide, the universe moves. Everything that is not aligned with your new frequency starts to fall away. People leave. Old habits stop feeling good. Your environment starts feeling too small. And this is where most people break. They feel the discomfort of expansion and run back to what's familiar. They mistake the loss of their old life as a sign that something is wrong, when in reality, it is proof that everything is finally shifting. The 1% know this. They don't resist it. They allow the destruction of the old, because they understand that only by releasing what no longer serves them can they step into what has always been waiting for them. And then something happens that most people will never experience. The shift becomes permanent. The old struggles disappear, not because the world changed, but because they are no longer a match for them. They don't attract chaos. They don't attract lack. They don't attract negativity because they don't exist in that frequency anymore. And from the outside, it looks like magic. People will say they got lucky, that things just seem to work out for them, that life seems unfair because some people have it easy while others struggle. But what they don't understand is that none of this is random. Reality is a mirror. It is reflecting you back at you. Change your frequency, and reality has no choice but to change with it. But most will never do it. Most will keep waiting, keep hesitating, keep clinging to a version of themselves that is too small for the life they claim they want. And that's fine, because only 1% will make it. Only 1% will have the courage to let go of everything, to step into the unknown, to move with the kind of energy that bends reality in their favor. The only question that matters is, will you be one of them? Or will you look back years from now, and realize that you had the key the entire time, but you were too afraid to use it? Because at this point you already know the truth. You either decide now or you never will. Most people think life is happening to them. They think success, freedom, abundance are things they have to chase, struggle for, work endlessly to deserve. But the 1%, the ones who live in a different vibrational reality, know this is the biggest lie ever told. They don't chase anything because they understand the hidden laws of reality, the laws that most people ignore or are too blind to see. The first law is simple but brutal: you do not get what you want. You get what you are. Look at your life right now, your relationships, your finances, your opportunities. They are not random. They are a direct reflection of your internal state, of the energy you live in every single day. If you are surrounded by struggle, chaos, lack, it is not because life is unfair. It is because that is what you are vibrating at. And here's where most people fail. They think they can fake it. They repeat affirmations, they visualize success, they say all the right things, but internally, they are still operating from fear, doubt, scarcity. And no matter what they do, reality does not change because energy cannot be tricked. The 1% know this. They don't waste time forcing things. They don't beg for opportunities, they don't hope for success, they become the frequency of what they want. And because of that, everything moves toward them effortlessly. And this is where most people break. They hear this and say, okay, I'll try. But trying is the language of the 99%. Trying means you still believe there is another option. The 1% don't try, they decide. And that decision changes everything. Because the second you stop waiting and fully step into the energy of the life you claim you want, reality has no choice but to adjust. People feel it. Opportunities recognize it. The universe responds to it. But most will never hold that energy long enough to see the shift. They will get impatient, they will start doubting. They will let fear pull them back into their old self. And that is why they stay stuck. The hidden law that the 1% understand is that reality is a game of vibration, and the only ones who win are the ones who master their energy. They do not operate from reaction. They do not let circumstances dictate their frequency. They wake up every day and decide who they are, what they will accept, what they will attract, and they hold that vibration no matter what. And because of that, life bends to match them, not the other way around. And then something happens that most people will never experience. Effort becomes irrelevant. The 1% move differently because they are no longer fighting reality. They have stepped into a state where everything is aligned, where the right people, the right opportunities, the right moments all appear at exactly the perfect time. And from the outside, it looks impossible. People will call it luck. They will call it unfair. They will make excuses for why things seem to come so easily for them. But what they don't see is the energy behind it. They don't see the years of discipline, the internal work, the unwavering certainty that built this new reality. And that's why most people will never get there. Because they think it's about working harder, about doing more, about chasing something outside of themselves. But the ones who truly rise, the ones who step into the highest vibrational reality, they don't play that game. They don't need to. Because they have mastered the only thing that ever mattered, their own frequency. And once you master that, you never have to chase anything again. It all comes to you. The only question is, will you still be one of the 99% looking for shortcuts, waiting for proof, doubting what you already know deep down? Or will you finally decide to step into the reality that has been waiting for you all along? Because if you cannot decide now, you never will. Most people will hear this, feel something shift inside them, maybe even get a rush of motivation, and then do nothing. They will wake up tomorrow, slip right back into old patterns, let distractions pull them away, and convince themselves that they still have time. But the ones who truly step into the highest vibrational reality, the 1%, they don't wait. They don't hesitate. They don't let their mind drag them back into the illusion of doubt. They decide, and that decision is what changes everything. Because the biggest secret, the thing no one tells you, is that stepping into a higher reality does not take years. It does not take months. It happens in an instant, the instant you stop identifying with your old self. The instant you stop seeing yourself as someone who is struggling, lost, waiting. The instant you step into absolute certainty that you are already the person you were meant to be. And in that moment, reality bends. The people who once ignored you start paying attention. The opportunities that once seemed impossible start appearing effortlessly. The things you used to chase now chase you, not because you worked harder, not because you got lucky, but because you finally became a match for the life you've always wanted. And here's where most people fail. They will step into this new energy, they will feel the shift, and then something will happen, a setback, a challenge, a moment of doubt, and instead of holding their frequency, they will collapse. They will let fear pull them back into their old identity. They will start questioning if they are really capable, if they really deserve this, if this whole thing even works. And the second they do that, they fall back into the 99%. Because the real test is not whether you can shift once. The real test is whether you can hold your frequency no matter what. The 1% do not break when things get hard. They do not let external reality dictate their internal state. They remain unmoved, unshaken, untouchable. And because of that, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself around them. Most people will never reach this level because they let their emotions control them. They let fear control them. They let the outside world tell them who they are instead of deciding it for themselves. But the ones who master this, the ones who refuse to lower their frequency for anything or anyone, they become unstoppable. They become the kind of people who walk into a room and change the entire energy without saying a word. They become the ones who attract wealth, power, love, success without effort, not because they are better than anyone else, but because they vibrate at a frequency where those things are normal, inevitable, guaranteed. And this is the final shift. The moment where there is no going back. The moment where you stop trying, stop hoping, stop wishing, and start being. Because once you have stepped into this version of yourself fully, once you have cut off every thought, every habit, every person that pulls you back into a lower frequency, you will never experience life the same way again. The struggles that once consumed you will feel like they belong to someone else. The doubts that once held you back will no longer exist. The version of you that was stuck in the 99% will be gone forever, replaced by someone who moves through life with complete certainty, complete power, complete alignment. And from the outside, people will not understand how you did it. They will think you got lucky, that you had some advantage they didn't. But deep down, you will know the truth. You will know that the only difference between you and them was that you decided and they didn't. And that's why this is the moment that changes everything. Because either you step into the 1% now, or you never will. Most people will never understand what it truly means to reach a level where going back is impossible. They think change is something they can test, something they can ease into, something they can reverse if it gets too uncomfortable. That's why they stay stuck. They never commit fully. They always leave an exit, a backup plan, a way to return to the version of themselves they claim they want to escape. But the 1%, the ones who truly step into the highest vibrational reality, they don't give themselves the option of returning. They cut off everything that ties them to their old frequency. They burn the bridge back to their past self. They remove the toxic people, the distractions, the habits that drain them, not temporarily, but permanently. And because of that, they rise faster than anyone else. They don't waste energy negotiating with their old patterns, fighting temptations, struggling to stay on track. They move in one direction, only forward. And that's why they never fall back. And here's where most people fail. They try to evolve while still holding on to the things that keep them small. They say they want a new reality, but they refuse to let go of the environment that reinforces their old one. They surround themselves with people who doubt them, habits that weaken them, routines that drain them, and then wonder why nothing changes. The 1% don't make that mistake. They are ruthless with their energy. They do not spend time explaining themselves to people who don't get it. They do not wait for permission to level up. They do not allow anything that lowers their vibration to stay in their life. And because of that, their energy becomes unshakable. They are not pulled back by old fears, old doubts, old versions of themselves. They do not slip back into their past because they have made it impossible to do so. Most people will never understand this level of commitment because they are too attached to their comfort. They want transformation without sacrifice. They want the rewards of the 1% while still living like the 99%. And that's why they never break through. And then something happens that most people will never experience. The shift becomes irreversible. The old thoughts, the old habits, the old struggles no longer exist because they are no longer a match for them. They do not have to force discipline anymore. They do not have to fight to stay on track. They have become a completely different person, and because of that, reality bends to match them effortlessly. And from the outside, people will not understand how it happened. They will think it was luck, timing, something external. But the truth is, it was a decision to never go back, a decision to move forward with such intensity that falling back became impossible. This is the real difference between the 1% and everyone else. They do not treat change as something temporary. They do not leave space for failure. They decide once, and that decision alters their entire existence. And that's why they never fall back, because there is nothing left to fall back to. Most people live at the mercy of their emotions, their circumstances, the opinions of others. They wake up and immediately check their phone, letting the outside world dictate how they feel before they've even taken control of their own energy. They react to everything: problems, negativity, distractions, never realizing that every time they do, they are giving their power away. The 1% don't live like this. They don't wake up and wait to see how the day will go before deciding how they feel. They don't let circumstances control them. They decide their energy first, and then reality adjusts. And because of that, they become untouchable. They do not break when things go wrong. They do not lose focus when people doubt them. They do not lower their frequency for anything or anyone. And this is what separates them from everyone else. They have mastered the ability to hold their vibration no matter what. And because of that, life bends to match them. And this is where most people fail. They think they can shift their energy for a day, a week, maybe even a month. And then if they don't see results fast enough, they slip back into their old patterns. They start doubting. They start hesitating. They start reacting again. And before they know it, they are right back where they started. The 1% don't do this. They do not treat their energy like something temporary. They don't wake up and hope to feel good, hope to stay disciplined, hope that things will work out. They decide, and then they move like it's already done. They do not waste time questioning themselves. They do not look for external validation. They do not let the opinions of people who are still stuck in the 99% influence them. Their energy is so solid, so unwavering, that nothing can shake them. And that is why they rise. Not because they are smarter, not because they are luckier, but because they refuse to let anything pull them out of alignment. And then something happens that most people will never experience. Their energy becomes the most powerful force in their reality. They no longer chase success. They no longer chase relationships. They no longer chase opportunities. Those things start chasing them. People can feel their power before they even speak. Opportunities appear out of nowhere. Doors that were once closed suddenly open. Not because they forced it, not because they struggled for it, but because they became the kind of person who attracts it effortlessly. And from the outside, it looks like magic. People will call them lucky. They will try to explain it away. They will look for some secret shortcut that doesn't exist. But the truth is, it was never about luck. It was about energy. And the ones who master their energy, the ones who stop reacting, stop doubting, stop waiting, they become untouchable. Nothing can break them. Nothing can stop them. And once you reach that level, you never experience life the same way again. Because you are no longer a person who hopes things will happen. You are the person who makes them happen. Most people spend their entire lives in a state of need, needing money, needing love, needing success, needing validation. And the more they need, the more those things seem to stay just out of reach. They don't realize that need is a low-frequency state, a signal to the universe that says, I don't have this. And because reality mirrors internal energy, their external world continues to reflect that lack. The 1% don't operate from need. They do not wake up feeling desperate for anything. They move as if they already have everything they want, not because they are pretending, not because they are faking confidence, but because they understand that reality responds to certainty, not desperation. And because they embody the frequency of having, everything flows to them effortlessly. People feel the difference. Opportunities recognize the difference. Life itself bends to match their energy because they are not chasing, they are attracting. And this is where most people fail. They spend their days trying to manifest something while emotionally reinforcing that they don't have it. They say they want abundance, but they live in a mindset of scarcity. They say they want success, but they are still waiting for proof that it's possible. They say they want love, but they carry the energy of someone who is afraid of being alone. And because of that, they stay stuck. They don't realize that the shift isn't about forcing things to happen, it's about becoming the version of themselves where those things are normal. The 1% understand this. They do not look at reality and wait for it to confirm their worth. They decide they are worthy first, and then reality adjusts. This is why they never seem to struggle, why everything seems to come to them so easily. It's not because they are lucky. It's because they mastered the ability to hold the frequency of already having before it ever showed up in the physical world. And then something happens that most people will never experience. The struggle disappears, not because life got easier, but because they stopped vibrating at the frequency of struggle. They no longer waste energy chasing, forcing, or trying to prove themselves. They move with absolute certainty, and the universe responds in kind. People can feel it before they even speak. There is no hesitation in their energy, no doubt, no desperation. They walk into a room and things shift. They speak and people listen. They decide and things move. And from the outside it looks unreal. People will try to explain it, rationalize it, reduce it to luck or privilege or some external factor. But the truth is, it's none of those things. It's energy. And the ones who understand this, who stop needing and start being, they reach a level of power that most will never touch, because they are no longer waiting for life to give them permission. They are the ones who decide how life responds.